Coming up today on the Locked On Hornets podcast, the Hornets are playing 500 ball in the last 10 games. What's so different about the offense right now? We'll dive in all today. Locked On Hornets.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets. We're back in its truest form with me and Doug Branson, both on the mic. Speaking of Doug Branson, he also hosts everyhornetsboxscore.com. He hosts the pods over there. He's writing for that Substack. You should go check it out. Again, everyhornetsboxscore.com. He also is the producer for Yahoo Sports Daily. Go check that out with Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton. And I'm Walker Mail. You can listen to me on WFNZ every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio 92.7 FM. Thanks for making Locked On your first listen of the day every weekday, and for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network out there. We very much appreciate it. And we continue to encourage you to go subscribe to the YouTube channel, which we're over 10K. How about that? 10,000 subscriptions.
Oh my God.
Is this brand new information? So I'll ask you this. Is this brand new information to you? Because it was until I got congratulated by, I believe, Nick out there. Shout out to Nick and Evan Hale, who was just on the pod yesterday. I got the congratulations text messages for passing 10,000 subscriptions. Is this brand new information for you?
Yeah, it's 10K on YouTube. Looks like we made it. I don't know if we're ahead of the Suns yet. I got to look that up. That's really, I know that everyone looks at 10K and they think big round number, but I only think about the margin between this show and Locked On Suns.
Is this a Devin Booker thing?
It's a Mark Williams thing.
It is a Mark Williams. I knew it. Oh, man, they're collecting all of your nemesis.
You know, Kon Knueppel's giving me a new appreciation for Devin Booker. If Kon, because I think Kon can be the fully realized, fully actualized version of Devin Booker that actually cares about winning too. So, yeah, all new appreciation for my guy, Devin Snooker.
If Devin Booker was a good three-point shooter, he'd be Kon Knueppel. Maybe Devin Booker in his final days can be as good as Kon. Maybe one day if Devin ends up becoming his best self. Let's talk about this Milwaukee-Charlotte game last night. The Hornets, they fall 123-113. And speaking of falling, that's exactly what happened to Miles Bridges. We have another injury here, Doug, which probably the story of the game. It really, despite, the actual basketball stuff that contributed to them losing, he left. He would not return after suffering a right ankle injury. It looked like it happened when he fell down, and it was this exchange on defense between Ryan Rollins and who else was it? Was it Kevin Porter or something like that? Got up, complained, thought there was a foul. Either way, it looked like that might have been the injury, but he would not return after another ankle injury, which it happens all the time. I'm not here to bring all of the despair surrounding this because the Hornets have been playing better basketball over the last 10 games. They're 5-5. It feels like different basketball really ever since I know it feels like different basketball ever since the Knicks loss, where it was a terrible loss. They really got some things figured out after that. At the same time, I will say, amidst all of the injuries, they still have enough depth to be a competitive basketball team and play 500 ball, which is, guys, not a small thing. Let's not brush that to the side and act like it doesn't exist, because it does and it matters, but you hate to see another injury for this team.
The ankle injuries are getting ridiculous. The Hornets script writers, find a new guy. This is like Scooby-Doo stuff, right? Like every episode ends the same way. They catch the ghost or the clown, and then they take the mask off, and it's always the second person that you met. It was never the first person you met. It was always the second person you met, and then they rip the mask off, kids, getting in the way, the whole thing. Like, you've seen Scooby-Doo, you get it. That's what this is. These constant ankle injuries. I'm done with them. Unfortunate for Miles. Unfortunate for Kon. And Miles, it was the story, but it was the fact that it left the bench even thinner. And the bench, they had a great first half because I think there was some missing components in the starting unit in terms of just execution. I thought, Brandon got it going as the game went on, and I mean, the amazing dunk that he had, my God, he just ended Kyle Kuzma. That was amazing. I thought LaMelo, he was obviously hot from three, but he was really struggling around the rim. A lot of turnovers. I think he ended up with 6. Couldn't draw fouls. So difficult game for him around the rim. So just some execution stuff. I mean, the end of the game, Josh Green and Moussa Diabate just missing like the bunniest of bunnies. A lot of that stuff. But by the second half, the bench unit had turned back into a pumpkin. They were full carriage in the first half, turned back into a pumpkin, couldn't hit a shot, 2 of 10 from 3 in the third quarter. And I think some of that was just the attrition that the Hornets are under right now, and losing Miles and not having him in those bench units, I think hurt.
Yeah, it did. And Miles going down, and then you saw the Hornets kind of lose the game a little bit after that. And it wasn't immediately after, but eventually they would lose the game. And you can tell anytime that we've had our criticism about Miles Bridges, it's more so been because they've had to rely on him as that first or second leader. And in reality, the role is way better suited for him to be possibly the 4th best guy on a team that is looking to contend in the postseason. And that's not a small thing. Those guys still really mattered. He still deserves to be a starter. He still is a connector. He still can go off for some of these really impressive offensive nights, even with some of the defensive deficiencies. He still matters to this basketball team a lot. And so you can see some of the connectivity that he brings when that's not on the floor. It really hurts this squad. But losing Miles in a 4th role, right? That's much more significant than losing Miles as that first or second role. And I think you could see a little bit of that last night.
Yeah, because, look, they were already down Ryan Kalkbrenner, and then you add Mason Plumlee to that. And so you're relying on Moose, and then you're relying on Tidjane to fill some of those big minutes. And he had to fill even more in the second half after Miles went away. And so what that ended up doing was just allowing Giannis to really go to work, particularly late in the game, because Miles, at least he's got a shot against Giannis sometimes. PJ Washington was the true Giannis killer that the Hornets used to have when they could put him one-on-one and let him actually do some damage. But Miles was really good early in the game when they were having a little bit of success, at least getting him to move the ball away from himself. It was because Miles was just really quick with the help and quick with the doubles. And Tidjane, we're going to talk about some of the improvements, and he has made some massive improvements, but just like defensive awareness is still a weakness for him.
By the way, Charles Lee, after the injury and after the game last night, he says, all I got post-game real fast was that we'll evaluate him tomorrow at practice with that right ankle injury. It's a huge growth opportunity for Tidjane to be able to play a former MVP last night in Giannis. It is a big opportunity. Look, Tidjane continues to improve, but also that's a tough ask for anybody. And the last thing I'll say about the injury before I pass it to you again, one, I was saying 4th role for Miles. That's with a healthy basketball team. It was 3rd last night because you didn't have Kon. And while the Hornets have been better prepared to deal with some of these injuries compared to years past, I don't know if you can overcome Kon and Miles and Ryan Kalkbrenner. That's 60% of your starting lineup typically. Even if you wanted to say it's Moussa and Ryan as 1A, 1B, with Ryan being the 1A, Moussa being the 1B, it's still 60% of your starting lineup. You're still out right at the start of this game without your 2 rookies that have been really impressive for you. So can't overcome a lot of that when Giannis is on the other team. Not going to be able to overcome all of those absences, and you could see it happen really in the 4th quarter of this game. 3rd quarter, they also got outscored. What was it, by like 8, something like that? The 3rd quarter, 9 points they got outscored.
These are 2 teams that are, I mean, other than one team having Giannis and the other not, because Giannis was on limited minutes. You weren't getting the full Giannis experience. So on that given night, the 2 teams were pretty equally matched. The Hornets could have won this game. LaMelo, after the game, saying they didn't stay locked in, and that really was the case, and it was defensively because you saw offensive execution issues all through the game for the Hornets. Turnovers, bad passes, guy not being where he's supposed to be, Tidjane, like doing a beautiful shot fake, relocation. He's wide open for 3, and he just throws it next to him to Brandon Miller, who wasn't expecting it at all because Tidjane had just got himself open. And so the ball goes out of bounds. So there were all of these. Go ahead.
Well, no, this is good news. Finish your point, and we just got an injury update, but good news on the horizon.
Well, my point is that defensively they didn't stay locked in, and Bobby Portis hurt him in the second half, and so they've got to, because the defensive physicality that they showed particularly in the first quarter kept them in the game, and then they couldn't maintain it, and a lot of that is inexperience. Go ahead.
All right, good news. Injury report 5:00. Always expect Hornets PR to give us some bad news. Not today. We get some good ones. Injury report coming in. Ryan Kalkbrenner, Mason Plumlee, and Grant Williams. All three of them are out. All right, Kalkbrenner.
Oh, geez. I thought, wow.
Sorry.
Start with the good
Not
news.
great.
I thought you just said good news.
No. Start with the bad. So you end on the recent good feeling, right? That's what Pat Connaughton, Miles Bridges, questionable. Okay. Pretty decent considering he left the game and didn't return. Kon Knueppel probable for tomorrow's game against Golden State.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
I feel great, baby.
Let's go.
Steph versus Kon for the best shooter in the league at this point.
Spider-Man meme. Meme.
All right, let's talk more about it. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
You, me, you. We'll talk more about Kon Knueppel coming back and the Tidjane Salaun improvements, why the offense overall is seeing improvement. We'll get to all of it coming up next. LOH. Before we get to that, I want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time? During basketball season, there's nothing like being in the building. The energy, the crowd, that first big run that gets everyone on their feet. Fans want to be there for those moments, not stuck refreshing screens or guessing what tickets are really going to cost. That's where Game Time comes in. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few taps, and seeing the view from your seat before buying makes choosing tickets easy and confident. Prices include fees up front, so the total is clear from the start. That's my favorite feature. But I do like the zone deals as well, which help unlock great seats at even better value when you just go to a different zone on your map, and then you just let Game Time choose the tickets for you. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA, that's LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA, for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today and get in on the action. More Locked On Hornets ahead. It really is great. How about Kon Knueppel, man? Probable for this one. Now, look, perhaps I bring myself back just a little bit. You know, we have seen probable not mean probable. I would like to know what the percentage of probable designations have been with those guys actually having played over the last, let's say, 5 years. I did infamously say earlier this year, well, I don't think probable not meaning probable anymore is a real worry. And then, of course, I forget who it was, but the guy that was labeled probable ended up not playing, and then everybody was in my mentions. Okay, look, it's still a problem. Yep, you're right. I'm sorry I said anything. I'm hoping we dodge that here. It does feel like we've taken a turn in the right direction when having the right designation. So the fact that he's like, this was a scary injury at the time. This was so deflating. We didn't get a chance to talk about it with one another. We only just lived in our misery in the Locked On Hornets chat with David Walker, who sometimes we seek out to bring down with us because misery loves company. So we were talking back and forth about the Kon injury, really deflating. You could hear it, and I think in Shannon's voice too. Like, it was just a deflating feeling. Now he might be back. It looks promising that he'll be back in a monster game, matinee basketball over at the Spectrum Center on New Year's Eve. Great stuff, man. I hope it comes to fruition. What's
great about it is that obviously he's so important to what this team does offensively in terms of their organization. Those execution issues that I talked about, so many of them would have been erased had Kon been on the floor because he just knows what to do with the basketball. That's great. I think what's also great, and this may be a little stitious of me, but that he could have this kind of injury and where it looked really bad and be able to come back this quickly. I don't know. I'm not a medical professional, but I just like, the fact that this wasn't immediately devastating and cost him months of his career, because we've seen so many young players with this organization lose so much valuable time that they could be developing their game in game, which is where Kon needs to be developing it. And we're not going to, at least for now, we have escaped that. On the probable designation thing, like, I wish they would just call it day to day, because to me, like, I don't want them to go through the pregame stuff and him feel pain in the ankle and go, well, I got to play because I'm probable. Like, forget that, man. If there's anything going on, then I want probable to change to out in that situation. Back to my Scooby-Doo thing, I feel like our training staff, you know how in all of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons, they would all like run, but it was like them doing a little animation, but the background would just rotate, you know? That's the training staff running around evaluating people because it's constant movement.
Well, it's a conveyor belt of ankles. All right, fix this one. Diagnose this one. What's the real issue here? It's just an ankle conveyor belt that never stops, and the trainers constantly have to evaluate that body part. What else you got?
We cannot move from this game. I know we need to, but we cannot move from this game without mentioning Brandon Miller, 37 minutes, 31 points. He doesn't even shoot all that well from three. He was 3 of 12. But from the line, 10 of 12 free throws, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, only 1 turnover. He also had a steal and a block, so that's 2 stocks. I mean, this was a star performance from Brandon Miller. And honestly, sort of a weird dynamic between him and LaMelo, in that LaMelo shot well from 3, but I thought didn't do a lot of the little things very well. And defensively, I mean, he was just letting A.J. Green and Ryan Rollins and any number of guys do whatever they wanted to. But Brandon, I thought, did a lot of little things that helped this team and was the sort of energy when he dunks on Kuzma, throws him, thankfully doesn't get a technical, throws him, and then calls him a dumbass. Oh, I didn't bleep the right word.
You can say that part.
I'd say the right word. I couldn't say the other word. You're right. I bleeped.
Well, I mean, you could, but maybe like the double punch, the bang bang. I wonder if you could just say one or the other.
Well, Brandon could say it. Brandon could say it.
Some choice words.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to say it. Okay. You know what it's.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
A dumb bleep.
You said the word, right? Huh? Yeah, I said, like, you said it to their face. Yeah, I said it to Kyle Kuzma. I love the level of disrespect that Brandon Miller has for people as soon as he dunks on them. We've seen it a couple of times throughout his career. We've seen it a couple times within the last 2 weeks. I was talking about it on Media Row that I think there should be a rule instituted by Adam Silver that you have a 3-second disrespect grace period. Because in that other game, Brandon Miller got teed up pretty quickly, and it was just a slight shove. It was soft, and he got called for the tech. Tony Brothers was on the call. Nah, man, we didn't get a technical here. This is how it should be. 3-second disrespect grace period. That's what should be allowed in the NBA.
You know, they have stats for everything now. They actually have stats for these dunks, and I'm not talking about the height of the dunk. I'm talking they have a dunk score that's on NBA.com that measures all kinds of things, the power of the dunk, the situation, okay? Yeah. So I think I'm going to add to this and say that grace period should be tied to the dunkometer that they have on NBA.com. So the better the dunk score, the more time you get. So if it's just a little dunk, you don't get any time. But, you know, that should have been a 5-second. You should have gotten 5 seconds of disrespect. It's like extra time or what do they call it?
5 for fighting is what you're saying. 5 for fighting is essentially what it is.
Yeah, he should have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That's the number of rows he should have been able to throw Kyle Kuzma after that dunk.
The higher the score, the more curse combos you get as well. You could add another curse word in a row if you wanted to, a triple threat combo. I'm here for all of that. By the way, today is a great day to remind you about the Everydayers Club here on Locked On Hornets. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thanks for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayers Club. You get access to an ad-free audio feed for Locked On, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app. All you have to do is go to lockedonhornets.supercast.com. Again, lockedonhornets.supercast.com. Any other observations, final notes that you had on this one before we move on and tell you why the offense is better, and then shed some light on why Tidjane Salaun is better and improving it steadily so?
Colin Sexton, 6 of 12 off the bench, 12 points.
I thought deserved a
16,
note.
16 points.
I like Colin Sexton's game last night. I thought he deserved a note.
But here's the thing with Colin. I think he was the sort of poster child for my analogy of the carriage turning into the pumpkin, because he fell in love with that floater to the point there was a law of diminishing floaters. And that's what happened to Colin Sexton in this game. He just kind of fell in love with it, and it went away. Unfortunately for the Hornets.
We've talked about this before, and you've discussed how there's a reason that Colin doesn't need to shoot more than about 3 or 4 3-pointers a game. And yet, I desperately want to explore what higher volume looks like for Colin, because every single year, it happens every year. He stays right here in this zone, baby. We're just going to be shooting 3 to 4 threes. He's going to continue to be extremely efficient on catch and shoot opportunities. We're not going to increase the volume, but we're going to be very efficient at this, at shooting. This is good. And he's shooting, how about this? 70% this month from 3. Is that good? Feels good. 69.2% to be exact. Sorry, not 70. 69.2.
Nice.
He's 3 of 4 against Milwaukee. He's 3 of 3 against Orlando. He's 2 of 4 against Washington. He's 1 of 2 combined with Brooklyn and New York. So there was a long injury break there, but you get the idea. Just that's the thing. Maybe you tap into it a little more, but I understand maybe that's when you start to get some of the inefficient numbers.
And 8 assists. That was a team lead.
1 turnover. Yeah.
Only one turnover. So, yeah, I mean, LaMelo had 7, but he had 6 turnovers. So the assist to turnover ratio, not great. Last thing from me is that I think I cursed Tidjane James because I was talking about, before Josh Green came back, I was talking about how, Tidjane James is like the next evolution of Josh Green. We're training him to be the new Josh Green. Josh Green comes back. He's shooting 7 3-point attempts. He's scoring 10 points. And it's Tidjane James, the starter, with the 0 for 3 for 0. He's got the last year Josh Green line, and Josh Green all of a sudden is the next Josh Green. I don't know what to make of it.
It's Josh Green is
now I'm angry with Josh Green for being too aggressive.
I know. What are you doing? Just chill in the corner. Don't do anything else. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Bees everywhere!
Why is the offense better? Why is Tidjane Salaun better? We'll get to it. Final segment coming up next. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. You've piqued my interest. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprises. It's easy to check the weekly special before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. The timing is perfect. Right before the games, right before the weekend starts, it adds extra energy to Friday night basketball without overthinking it. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Didn't we used to do a Fun Friday show when we were titling every single day? I think that was a while back.
Oh yeah, we had the DJ horn. Yeah, we did the whole thing.
I do remember that. Oh, Fun
Friday! I think what we've done
is
we haven't given up Fun Friday. What we've done is evolve, and Fun Friday has really leaked into every one of our shows. Every show is now a fun show. We're the fun show. That's the thing.
Yeah, we're just not going to pigeonhole it to Friday. We can have fun every single day. I'm interested to get to this conversation, Doug. I know you've been researching why the offense has been better the last 4 games specifically. We've seen the offense see an uptick, but really, again, they've been playing well. I've mentioned this stat a couple times already. The Hornets are 5-5 in their last 10. They've kind of hovered around 500 basketball for the better part of a month. They've been playing better than last year's bad. This looks kind of like the bad I expected them to be, in a way that was an improvement from last year. Yeah, because the bar was on the ground. Hello, low bar. Welcome in. It's happy hour here also. But the improvement is here. You can see it. Why do you think the offense is better?
I think there are a lot of reasons. Let me just tell you how much better it is right now over the last 2 weeks. And you can throw the Milwaukee game. Even though they lost that game, they were pretty even with Milwaukee offensively. It was defensively that they really struggled in that game. And the offensive execution issues, I guess, resulted in some more difficult challenges for them defensively. But in terms of just scoring points, they were pretty good. because of LaMelo Ball shooting. But here's how good they've been. 6th in the league over the last 2 weeks in offense, 120.6 points per 100 possessions. You compare that to their season, and they're 17th, which is good. I mean, hovering right around there at average. I mean, last season, both offensively and defensively, they were not.
Clear my throat.
Sorry. Yeah, it's only fair, right? Let's see if I even. I don't know that I have. You know what's weird? It's like gone from my.
Oh wow! Yeah. Well, what a coincidence. There you go.
All right, I found it.
All right,
they've been hovering around average, so that's great. Why have they been better offensively? Lately, I think it's been LaMelo Ball and his ability to affect the game with his pass. Again, struggled against Milwaukee, but on the whole has been devastating with drawing attention and kicking it out. And I think also just the short roll game to me has improved across the board. We've talked all season about what Kon can do damage-wise by getting the ball around the free throw line and finding someone. But it's been everybody now. It's Moose making the pass. It's Tidjane making the pass. It's Miles Bridges making the pass. It's just incredible. I mean, it's Colin Sexton making the pass. It's everybody being committed to, hey, ball touch paint, then ball leave paint via pass to guy in the corner. There's a second level to that, though. It's not just passing out of the short roll. It's guy who catches in the corner, not being selfish about it and immediately taking the shot if it's contested. No, it's swing and maybe swing again. They've just committed to actually passing the basketball and running offense as opposed to, okay, I got it, now you got it, now I got it, now you got it. And quickly getting into offensive possessions, man. That was killing them early in the season, how long it took. Trey Mann over dribbling, Colin Sexton over dribbling, LaMelo Ball over dribbling. Everybody was doing it. Brandon Miller was doing it. Now it's we get the ball, we push the ball on makes, on misses, whatever. And then once we get there, we're doing something with the ball as opposed to constantly evaluating. It's made a huge difference.
You mentioned the short roll. I don't think it's any coincidence that the last 4 games that have been good offensively for the Hornets, those are the games that Moussa Diabate has been getting a lot more minutes at center because Ryan Kalkbrenner has been injured. And so Moussa is sitting here hovering around 30 minutes a pop. It felt like the Hornets Twitter sphere started to look at some of the numbers with him on the floor compared to Ryan Kalkbrenner starting, and everybody came to the consensus maybe Moussa should be playing more minutes this season if we care about winning basketball. The numbers would back that up. You look at the on-off numbers, defensively and offensively, actually both would more so back up Moussa being on the floor more often. Now, the rim frequency, Ryan Kalkbrenner does a better job of deterring shots close to the rim, but in terms of defending shots at the rim, Moose has actually been better at that. That makes sense to me. That passes the eye test, but really offensively, you talk about that short roll, man. Moussa Diabate, that's something as high as I was on Moussa, and Lord knows I was higher than everybody. I got a little too carried away with my Moussa love. Fair enough, okay. But one thing I didn't expect was him to be this improved with his offensive skill set. I didn't expect him to be this improved as a passer. I don't mind him putting the ball on the deck. In fact, I embrace it. I would like to see it a little more on the short roll, dribble, spin move, see if you can finish. Some of the finishing at the rim, like that still has been an issue for him because he is a little bit shorter than everybody else. But clearly the offensive rebounds, that's like his superpower. I just think Moussa in the lineup at 30 minutes a pop compared to the 18 to 23, a little bit of a difference there. And you're talking about the shooting all over the place. The LaMelo makes such a big difference. We know how much of a difference he makes with his passing, even with some of the turnovers. Without Kon, you're going to see the usage go up because you just need LaMelo to take some of the shots that were reserved for Kon in the first 30 games of the season. But man, the usage when Kon is on the floor, Doug, it's down. It's not 99th, 100th percentile anymore. Yeah. It's 75. It's 88. It's 85.
It's a healthy number.
It's a healthy number. And for all those reasons that you mentioned, with some interesting sets, with finding like little wrinkles that are, I don't want to say unique to the Hornets, but are a little rare in that, hey, we'll use our backcourt player in Kon to set a lot of these screens and then have him get his hands on the hips. Talked about it on Wes and Walker when we had that sit down. Charles Lee teaches these guys to put hands on the hips as they set the screen And then where do the hips move? You're going left, boom. I'm going to use your hips and propel myself the other direction. And that's how he's able to get so much separation off of these screen reads, man. Like, it's really impressive stuff. And you have LaMelo that can hit every single pass. It doesn't matter who's guarding at the top. I'll hit Kon over the top because I'm 6'7", I'm 6'8", and I'm this creative. It's been a lot of fun to watch all these little wrinkles as everybody starts to get healthier. It's been a fun basketball team.
It's their commitment to the sets, and maybe their learning of the sets and just getting used to them. Maybe that's also been something, because I think it has been a transition moving from the offense that they were running under Borrego, then Clifford, and now, excuse me.
You need some time? I can help you if you need some time.
I'm just going to do this again.
You're good. I know, it's fine. It's okay. You were talking about the commitment to the sets. Go ahead, Doug.
Commitment to the sets, and then also the passing has been huge. I just want to give you some stats on Moussa. When he came into the league in 22, 23, couldn't pass at all. Assist percentage at the bottom of the league, 17 games for the Clippers. First year with the Hornets, it goes to the 15th percentile, 6.3%. It's all the way up to the 34th percentile, 8.3%. But when you look at assist to usage, like how much is he making assists versus how much is he being used, 0.69, nice. That's 57th. So just average for a big.
Yeah.
And his turnover percentage, 11.8%. That's way above average for bigs. You not only is he making passes, let me just say, I cannot stress enough how fundamentally it changes an offense when your bigs can pass.
No, 100%. 100%.
When they go from not being able to pass at all to being able to pass. Like, that is just a fundamental change. It opens up so many. You can run sets. I mean, there's just like a whole half of the playbook that you can't run if your center cannot make a simple read to the corner.
Well, and the thing about Moussa, as we can end on this, and we need to get some Tidjane takes, but last thing with Moussa, like, one, Mark Williams was actually a good passer, but he left a lot to be desired defensively with just not enough tenacity. So you're saying that as tenacious a defender as Moussa Diabate is, he's also maybe the best offensive rebounder in the league with respect to Steven Adams and some other great numbers posters up there. Moussa is right up there with everybody else in terms of offensive rebound percentage. So crazy tenacious defender that can switch, that can hold his own in the post, and now he's passing out of the short roll, and his passing and can put it on the deck a little bit. Like, he can dribble a tiny. I'm okay with him also helping you out in transition. Moose made a big difference, and I think all these other players are benefiting with the style of player that he's become.
You're right that Mark Williams could pass, but the difference with Diabate is that he's available and can pass. And I mean that seriously, because for an offense, they've got to have people available consistently to get into some kind of rhythm, to be able to execute this offense, to run these sets, to understand who's going to be where and when. And so for Diabate to be able to play these games consistently with these same players, health has been a big part of them improving offensively because they can get used to each other. They can get comfortable. That's what we're seeing now. With Kon coming back, it's going to be even better. So, yeah, I mean, it's Diabate. It is Tidjane Salaun shooting the leather off the ball. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, everybody's shooting better. You know, that's a simple answer. Why is the offense better? Well, I mean, they're hitting a lot of threes. Mm-hmm. They were taking because when the offense was bad, they were taking the same amount of threes. They just weren't hitting them, and now they're hitting them.
Let's go into Tidjane. Just finish up here. I don't want to deny the people the bullet point like I do so often. Let's talk about the Tidjane Salaun improvement. I've talked a lot about this, Doug. I don't know what your thoughts are initially here with what we've seen, but Zach Lowe actually mentioned him today, or at least Hornets Reddit had the post of Zach Lowe talking about Tidjane on his podcast, saying, hey, we're seeing some improvement here. Over the last month, we've seen him shoot a good ball, 50% on the month, and it's not on nothing volume. Like, he's taking the open shots, he's taking the right kinds of shots, and I've reiterated this point a million times. Make threes, be available in transition, and play your bleep off defensively, and that's what allows you minutes to try other stuff here and there. And now we're starting to see him get better on drives. It had been a terrible adventure. Not a very efficient basketball player on drives. I talked about it in the Monday episode. But we're seeing that improve a little bit. We're seeing in transition, okay, it feels like the wheels are turning a little faster and you're making the right decision there. This is as comfortable with Tidjane as I've felt since he became a Charlotte Hornet. and that is huge considering they drafted him 6th overall.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking on Tidjane. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be a star-level player in this league. But I think my hopes of him being a high-level role player have increased dramatically. Part of that's the shooting, but part of that is his awareness growing. And look, I mean, when he's one-on-one with somebody, he's a good defender. He's got to get better in terms of help defense, weak side defense, all that stuff. He's got to get better. I think he's always going to have a little bit of JaVale McGee syndrome in his game. Like, I think he's
Shaq
always...
the Fool is going to showcase him. If it was still a thing, it would showcase Salaun.
I think it is still. I saw it come back.
Is it? Okay.
I thought it came back for the Christmas Day showing that they did. If it does continue to come back, I think Tidjane could be an impact player like JaVale McGee was. But see, unfortunately, because of the clown stuff, like, we forget that JaVale McGee was, like, you can't be in the league for as long as JaVale and play for the teams that he did and not be an impact player. He was an impact player, but he would have these goofy moments that was hard to forget. I'm just not sure that Tidjane's ever going to work himself out of those moments.
Fair enough. Not all the way, but as long as you limit those and
as long as you keep hitting them threes, baby, just keep hitting them threes over and over. We'll forget about everything.
Just keep hitting shots. That'll keep you on the floor, and that'll keep you a part of the rotation as much as you have been recently. That'll do it for Locked On Hornets. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your pods. That includes YouTube. There's Doug Branson. Go find him on his Substack, everyhornetsboxscore.com. Also, go check out Yahoo Sports Daily. He's producing behind the scenes for Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton. And I'm Walker Mail. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio, 92.7 FM. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you tomorrow.
Oh! I'm going to go get a burger.
Oh, yeah. That sounds exciting. Hey, we're having burger bowls tonight.